Oh, Mr. Reigns, Mr. Reigns, Mr. Reigns. We need to have a talk.
The Rock says, The Rock, The Rock says,
Before we get into the video, we need to have a talk. You see this number? 96%. 96% of you are watching videos and you're not subscribed. Do you have any idea what that looks like? It looks like you're watching the from outside in the bushes. Don't be a creep. Pull up a seat, and as long as you got positive vibes, you are welcome to join the Flash family. It's all love over here. It's obviously you're supposed to be joining the family, right? That's why you keep on coming back, and that's why you keep seeing us in your algorithm. We're calling you. The universe is aligning. So go ahead and smack the like button, electrify the subscribe button, and join the family. Now, back to the video. Welcome back to another episode of FP, the Flash Pro Wrestling Show. I am your host, Chris Flash, and here we talk pro wrestling. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be catching up with everything that's been going on with the Bloodline since Crown Jewel to the current day. So let's dive right into it. First and foremost, the Crown Jewel six-man match was, from a storyline perspective, was chef's kiss. It starts out, the Bloodline comes out, and they're all one unit. They come out together, same music, matching attire. Everything is a fine-tuned, fine-oiled machine. And then Roman's music hits. And the first thing going through my head after watching Solo come out was, okay, is Roman and the Usos going to come out together? How is this going to go? And so Roman's music hits, and I'm like, okay, well, it sounds like they're not doing Roman, Jimmy, Jay all separately. Because let's also, like, as a side note, are we just not going to talk about Jimmy's music saying, they talk about family first? Well, I put that in the past. And we all know what Jay's new music saying is, it's just me, Oos. I'm going to get them all. He was talking about getting everyone from his past, Roman, Jay, everyone from the family. That was a wrinkle that I don't think anybody has really mentioned, but it's blindly obviously there. And so Roman comes out, he's with Jimmy. And Roman is just himself. Nothing has really changed. And I keep saying this, nothing is changing with Roman from an emotional standpoint. But by the end of this video, we're gonna see some emotional changes in Roman. So they come out, they do their whole entire entrance. Roman is in the ring, and Jay's music hits. Jay comes out with a absolutely star-studded entrance, as he always does, coming from the crowd, and just seeing how over he is all over the world. Like a Jay Uso. Like 5 years ago, we would have all been sitting around saying that Jimmy Uso was the star of the group. And how far Jay has come is something that is, Jay might go into the Hall of Fame as a tag team and as a singles act. If they continue on this and where this storyline could go, this could be a Hall of Fame making just. They might make an entire wing just for the Bloodline and the Samoan dynasty. So Jay comes out, and what was interesting is Roman is standing there, as he does, and he's looking at Jay come down. He's looking at everybody cheer for him and whatnot, and he's got this look on his face. He's just like Roman, you a hater, bro. Like, if it's not on you, if all the spotlight is not on you, you can't take it. And it makes me wonder if this whole tribal chief thing is like, if it's less about control of the family and more so just a expression of his ego, of his narcissism. Like, no one else can stand beside me because I'll have to share the spotlight. This is all about me. Acknowledge me. So that's a little character beat that I picked up on that really excited me to see how this match was gonna go. So the match starts out, and Jay is like, yeah, let me start the match off. Roman's like, are you sure? You sure? You want to start? So he's already kind of questioning him off the rip. Jay's already said, listen, I'm doing this because little bro needs to be stopped. But the second you step out of line, I'm out. So Jay starts the match and he's doing his thing. Roman's pretty impressed watching. Everyone's watching Roman's facial expressions. The guy can write a book on how to sell an entire story with just this. Just this. He's if he decides to go to Hollywood route, I think he's gonna do well. Because majority of Hollywood is this. It's selling this. You can do your lines, your body language can be good, but if you can sell the close up, money. Money. And so as I said, he's sitting there, he's watching this, and the crowd is going crazy. They want Roman, they want Roman, they want Roman. Well, he tags in Jimmy the first time. They do their whole tag team Uso spot. Everything's cool. And then the crowd erupts again. And as most bloodline matches go, they build up, build up, build up, build up. We want Roman OTC. We want Roman OTC. He holds out his hand. He does the whole, come on, come on. Your time is up. Go ahead and tag me in. Jay looks directly into Roman's eyes and then tags Jimmy. Both Jimmy and Roman are like, what are you doing? We're supposed to be on the same page. What's this about? And that was the beginning of the end when it comes to Roman's bloodline in this match. The rest of the match was it broke down, but it was Solo's bloodline looking like a cohesive unit, and Roman's bloodline just looking like a bunch of single stars that just happened to come together. Like, oh yeah, we are related. And so Jacob takes out everybody, as he does, takes out Roman, then he runs and he does a suicide dive to take out the Usos. Solo gets up, picks Roman up, Samoan Spike, picks him up again, Samoan Spike, 1, 2, 3. Solo Sikoa has pinned Roman Reigns. This is what I've been waiting on. This was a moment that I've been waiting on. I've been saying we need to see cracks in the foundation of Roman Reigns' psyche. That's when he is the most interesting, is when when the psychological games are being played and he's trying to figure things out. It's so interesting seeing Roman with the wise man and Roman without the wise man, because now he's stuck. It doesn't seem as though he has any knowing of what to do or where to go. He's flying by the seat of his pants. The only thing that's keeping him afloat is his ego. It's not that he wants to be the way that he is. I don't know if Roman really has a choice. Roman is still a traumatized man from everything that the fans put him through prior to this tribal chief character. And then seeing the lengths he had to go to become the tribal chief character and get everyone to finally be on his side after 10 years, why would you want to let that go? I don't have anyone that I can turn to actually give me any type of guidance. So Roman doesn't need he needs his wise man, but he doesn't need the yes man, Paul Heyman. He needs someone to sit him down and tell him about his bullshit. He needs someone to look him in his face and say, "Hey man, look, you tripping." But he needs someone that's an elder. That's his elder. It can't be the Usos. It can't be Sami. And that's proven after Sami comes out and saves Roman from a post-match beatdown. They all circle around Solo Sikoa. The rest of the bloodline is out of the ring. And Roman goes for a Superman punch, and Sami goes for a haluva kick, and he kicks Roman in the face, lays him out. Of course, the shock look of like, what? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And Jimmy goes off like, what are you doing? Jay has to break them up. It brings us into Monday Night Raw with a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Of course, we kind of knew where this was going, right? We knew that Roman was gonna bring back the original bloodline. The question was how. And so the next night on Raw, Sami comes out to pretty much answer whether or not it was on purpose or not. Jay comes out and interrupts him. He's like, listen, I just need to know one thing, like, which is, was it on purpose? I don't need all the bells and whistles, the smoke and the mirrors. Just tell me straight up, was it on purpose? Then Jimmy comes out. And Jimmy's just like, yeah, of course it was on purpose. We can't trust this dude. He's not family. And Sami drops one of the coldest lines in this whole entire story. And he's like, well, let me remind you of your track record, of what you've done. When things got crazy, because remember, Jimmy was the first person to accept Sami into the bloodline, even though he's not blood. Jay was the last. And so he's like, well, when things got hard, you kicked Roman in the face. You kicked me in the face after I hit Roman. And then when things got tough with you and your brother and you didn't want to see your brother succeed, you kicked him in the face. So you have turned on every single member of this family, and you want to talk about loyalty? It really shined a light back on Jimmy, like, oh yeah, you're not as innocent as you making this out to be. And so they're bringing back these little callbacks to remember, hey, Roman, we know Roman's back, but there's some things that everyone needs to answer for. And so Jimmy's kind of like flustered. He's like, well, what you want me to do? You want me to say sorry? You want me to explain myself to you? And Jay's like, listen, I just want to know one thing. Sami's like, listen, I didn't do it on purpose. But being out there, it felt good for a second. And then it all blew up, as it always does with us. For whatever reason, we can never stay on the same page for a substantial amount of time. And I'm not trying to get back into the good graces of this family just for you guys to get me to try to prove my loyalty and put me on trial. I'm not doing it again. And he leaves the ring, and Jay just says, listen, I want to invite you to SmackDown, and we all going to talk this thing out like family. I don't like how quickly Jay seems to be in defense of all this. I would much rather Jay. I mean, I get it, like timing, and now we're on the road to Survivor Series, so we gotta tell this story. But it's like, man, like your character motivations are switching so much that I don't know whose feelings are valid, and like from week to week. Because one minute you feel one way, next minute you feel another way. The next Friday on SmackDown, this most recent Friday on SmackDown, Sami, Roman, and the Usos all in the ring. And he's like, listen, this wasn't on purpose. I did not kick him on purpose. And if you want me to rejoin the family and join you and the Usos in War Games, then I will do that. Well, no, he didn't say War Games. He just said like fight alongside the family. Then I will do that if that's what you want. And all you have to do is apologize. So the motivations is kind of switched there, because just on Monday he was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm reluctant to even be here. But once you got in the ring on Friday, it was like, you know what, bro, I'm cool with it. I'll do it, but you gotta apologize. And so Roman is like, I'm not apologizing to you for nothing. He's like, no, I don't want you to apologize to me. I want you to apologize to Jay. He walks over to Jay, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you wasted all of our times with this. And he goes on talking about, I don't want to have anything to do with Sami. He's not family. He's not blood. And so we get backstage after Sami storms off, And Roman's ego is going crazy. He tells off Jay. He's like, well, he's like, listen, I don't. Who do you think you are? If you want to look for Sami so bad, how about you go look for him? And Jay reminded him, hey man, I told you, if you disrespect me even once, I'm out. That's your only one pass. I ain't gonna lie, I would have called his bluff. I would have, if you tell me it's on site, don't tell me this your only chance. Like I told you it was on site. Next time it's gonna be on site. Nah, bro. Like you already gave me the warning. It is what it is. Anyway, so Jimmy's like, yo, man, what are you doing? Like you tripping. He's trying to check Roman. Like, tell him about himself. He's like, oh, you gonna question me too? You got something to say to me too? How about you go find your brother? Jimmy just shakes his head and walks off. This is what I mean when I say he needs his wise man. He needs someone to put him to the side. Hey, you're being a douche again. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. And you want to know what makes Solo a better tribal chief than you? There, I said it. Solo Sikoa is a better tribal chief than Roman. He's not a better wrestler than Roman. He's not a better character than Roman. But when it comes to being a tribal chief and getting the acknowledgement of your tribe, not by fear, but out of respect, that is what a tribal chief should be. Say what you want about the character. His bloodline respects him. They love him. Win, lose, or draw. Roman couldn't get respect because he ruled with an iron fist, and dare not he lose. He was inferior. He was so paranoid about losing that he felt that as though if I lose at all, then I'm not who I think I am. His ego is so fragile. Solo is just trying to do things in a better way, albeit more aggressive, and morally speaking, ain't necessarily ain't the best way to go about things. Fair, but when it comes to how he treats his bloodline, I'm not saying I acknowledge Solo, but he has a better track record as a tribal chief than the OTC. I'm just saying. If you disagree, please let's go in the comments. Let's start a conversation, a healthy conversation. I ain't arguing with nobody. If you just want to jump on here just to say I'm wrong, just for the sake of saying that I'm wrong, and you want to start an argument, leave it at the door. But if you want to have a healthy conversation, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I just want to hear your side of it and who you believe is the better tribal chief. I think that's fair. And so now we are at this past Monday's Raw, and apparently they're doing a 5-on-5 War Games match. So the new Bloodline and the OG Bloodline are both going to be looking for a fifth member. A lot of people are thinking Hikuleo, maybe Zilla Fatu. I don't think Zilla Fatu, honestly. I think he's in the works, but not yet. Hikuleo, he hasn't even debuted for NXT yet, so I'm not sure if they're going to go that route. Rumor is, since they taped Raw, next Monday's Raw already, the rumor is there's going to be Seth Rollins for the OG Bloodline and Bronson Reed for the new Bloodline. And a lot of people don't like it from a story perspective, just to see Roman's emotional response, because that's all I care about right now. I just want to see Roman's psyche. What psychological transformations must he go to get to this place of ultimate forgiveness from his family and change his ways and check himself and kill his ego. I want to know where we have to go to get there. And so him teaming with his true arch enemy, because keep in mind, if he was to team with Seth, he has now teamed with his last year's WrestleMania opponents. And The Rock is somewhere in lingering in the shadows. So that has implications. Everything that Roman and Seth have gone through. Seth said twice on this episode of Raw that he's not teaming with Roman, which him saying that multiple times makes me think that he's going to do it. But I mean, what if he comes out in Shield gear? What happens if? What happens if him and Roman have to stand in the cage together, like in like the little shark cage, and wait to get in there? What if the Usos are the first ones out? Sami goes out, and now it's just Roman and Seth in that cage together. Do they start to fight? Like, from a story perspective, I want to see it. Someone mentioned in my last video that they believe that CM Punk is going to be the person to do it, and he stated that it's because that would be the person, the final person that Paul Heyman would recruit, and that would be the way Paul Heyman comes back. Interesting, a very interesting thought. I don't know if it has the long-term story implications that a Seth Rollins would have, though. I think we both know that CM Punk and Roman Reigns is a future matchup that's going to happen, and it will, make money. I'm not sure if that's the way they introduce that story, though. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a possibility given Paul and Punk's past, and all it takes is a phone call. And he did, tell Solo, "Hey, listen, you don't touch Punk, you don't touch Cody," and they went after Punk. So maybe this could be their way of, tying that all back in together. I don't know. But like I said, as of right now, the rumor is Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. As far as Bronson Reed goes, it's just another danger element that makes the new bloodline that much more dangerous inside a structure like War Games. You got Jacob Fatu and you got Bronson Reed. First of all, I don't care how many men you got. You better double it if you're going into a match if you're going against those other two guys. And then you got Solo and you got, God. So that's a pretty formidable team. But if you, on the opposite of that, if you have arguably the greatest tag team in WWE history, the greatest champion in modern WWE history, and one of the greatest talents in WWE history, all on one team, and one of the greatest baby faces, all on one team, that should be an amazing match. Say what you want, but Seth joining the OG Bloodline for this match is very, very interesting, because that was the original Brotherhood: Roman, Seth, Dean, or John Moxley. But now we just got Seth and Roman left. I'm interested. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see it just to see what happens. Like, it's not really a matter of win or loss on that one. I just want to see what would happen. Who do I think should win this match? I think we should keep doing the fall of Roman. I think Roman should lose again. I think Roman should get pinned again. I didn't like the idea that Solo was the one to challenge Roman to War Games. Originally, Roman was like, "Listen, it's gonna be 1-on-1, me versus you, for the real tribal chiefs." And Solo's like, "I am the real tribal chief. I don't gotta prove this. You don't even have a tribe right now. But what I will do, if you can find some tag team partners, then we'll go to war." And so Solo has everything to lose. Why is he challenging to War Games of all matches? So that character motivation didn't really make sense to me. But I think there needs to be a trickling down of Roman's psyche. Like, I can't get this done, and I can't get this done because being who I was would not get me through this battle. I have to change. I have to evolve. I have to grow. I'm no longer the tribal chief. I am now the OTC. I am now an elder, essentially. And so I need to move differently to conquer this new threat, because this new threat looks like me. It is my blood. It knows me. So if I'm fighting a foe that knows me, then I'm gonna have to change. If my opponent knows all the answers, I need to change the questions. Shout out Roddy Piper. So with that being said, the next couple weeks of television going into War Games is primed and ready for some juicy storytelling and juicy character development. Specifically, I think development in Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. I think the evolution of those two characters in this story, everything will branch off of that. And yeah, I think we're going in a interesting but a enjoyable direction now that we're starting to get some actual like, oh, I care from Roman. Now, as I said before in the previous video, who do you guys think is going to be the new tribal chief? Do you think Roman is going to become the tribal chief? I have someone that said that they believe Roman should win back tribal chief and destroy the Ulafala and give each member of the bloodline a bead from the Ulafala, showcasing that there is no leader. We all stand as one. I like that as a storybook ending. I think that it can be cool, but that should be down the road, maybe at WrestleMania. That's how you wrap everything up. Or could this be all for Jey Uso? Could this whole entire storyline be a way to groom up the new tribal chief in Jey Uso, and that's how you end Roman's bloodline story? I think that could be interesting because the meteoric rise of Jey Uso ever since the bloodline story started has been nothing short but of legendary. And that could be an amazing way to wrap up this entire saga of the bloodline. But let me know what you guys think. That is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always love going deep dive and kind of catching up with whatever the bloodline is doing and where I think it could go. Let me know what you guys would do. Let me know how you would book the next few weeks of television going into War Games. And let me know who you guys would have as the fifth member on each team. Or would you just keep it between OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline? So I can't wait to have this discussion with you guys in the comments. And I'll see you guys down the road. And as always, be safe, be blessed, be kind. Peace.
The Rock says,